Bada boom, chillers fam in the room. How you doing? Before we start this video, man, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure you guys hit that post notification bell so you guys never miss an episode of the Chill Report, because we are live every single weekday talking about the latest going on in sports. So make sure you guys never ever miss an episode. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get to this video, man. Let's get it. Klay Thompson is officially a member of the Miami Heat after reaching a buyout agreement with the Dallas Mavericks. Thompson surrendered nearly $10 million of his salary to hit free agency and signed a 2-year, $11.5 million contract to join the Miami Heat's newest formed super team. Thompson spent his 2025-2026 season with the Dallas Mavericks, operating primarily as a spark plug weapon off the bench. His raw averages, marked a career low. He did remain highly effective from the three-point line, but as far as his stat line in general, he remained with career lows in all of those areas. In 69 games last year, he only started in 8. In those 69 games, he had 11 points per game. 11.7 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, 1 assist per game. As far as shooting splits, he shot 39.3% from the field, 38.3% from the three-point line, and 76.6% from the free throw line. He made 2.9 three-pointers per game. He's currently healthy right now, after having a couple injury concerns earlier in his career, but he's now back to being fully healthy, back to being the Klay Thompson that we all know and love as far as health goes. Like I said, he did play 69 games last year. He only managed to start in 8 of them, but that wasn't his role with the Dallas Mavericks. His role with the Dallas Mavericks is being that spark plug off the bench and providing offense whenever he can and kind of being that microwave scorer like we always talk about. That was his role, but now he's joining the Miami Heat to be their three-point shooter. I'll say their primary probably three-point shooter as far as how they'll rely on Klay Thompson to utilize his three-point ability. Do not forget, Klay Thompson is the other half of the Splash Brothers, so he still can shoot threes, and three-point shooting is the absolute last thing to go. So you could be 50 years old and still be able to light it up from the three-point line, because that's the last thing to go, which is why players like my favorite player, LeBron James, which is why later in his career, he started to work more on his three-point shot, because he was able to figure out, well, if he learned to shoot better from the three-point line, if he became more of a three-point threat, he became more of a three-point shooter, that not only does that take some stress off of him, because now he doesn't have the pressure to have to drive to the rim every time. He don't have the pressure to have to get to the basket and, put your body at risk, as far as your body being more worn down, you don't have to worry about more injuries and stuff like that, because you don't have to worry about getting to the basket as much as he did when he was younger. Now he can, when he doesn't need to, he can just sit back and rely on his three-point shooting that has become very reliable for him at this point of his career. So he was able to figure that out, and I feel like any player, look at Blake Griffin, any player I feel like in this current NBA, and y'all can thank the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, for it. Y'all can thank Klay Thompson's ex-teammate, the other half of the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry. Y'all can thank him for this. He reinvented the game as far as, how people looked at the three-point shot. And I think that it's gotten to the point now where if you aren't able to shoot threes, and I don't care what position you're in, like if you're, pause on that, but if you are a center, power forward, small forward, shooting guard, point guard, any one of them positions, I don't care, pause. Even if you can say, oh, well, that's not my game, I don't normally do that, well, you need to find a way to somehow become a reliable, at least, threat from out there. Somewhat of a threat to where the defense has to pay attention to you, because that's where the game has went as of now. And Klay Thompson, along with his ex-Splash Brother partner, Steph Curry, has been a huge part of why the game is where it is, and they have reinvented the game. So, Klay Thompson still has that three-point shooting ability, because, like I said, that's the last thing to go. So he's still able to be a significant threat, from the three-point line. And I think them going to get Klay Thompson for the Miami Heat, for their new super team, with them going to get Giannis and they already had Bam, but with them having Giannis and Bam, and then they go get Klay Thompson to be like that three-point shooting threat, I think it was a great idea. It was a great signing. And the reason why I feel like he's going to fit perfectly, because just in my personal opinion, and I said this when in the first video back on the show when Giannis first went to the Miami Heat, I said that a lot of people, and I didn't necessarily know if it was going to be Klay Thompson, but I said, or at least I thought, a lot of people or a lot of 3-point shooters, or a lot of people that are known for being 3-point shooters in the NBA, right? I thought a lot of people would go to the Miami Heat knowing that, okay, they have Giannis, they have Bam, and I thought a lot of 3-point shooters would take that opportunity to go to the Miami Heat. Why? Because, let's be real, Giannis is a huge, driving to the basket threat. That's his game. That's his bread and butter. Pause. That's what he does, right? He drives to the rim. He's the Greek freak. You cannot stop him. You cannot stop the Greek freak when he turned that mentality on, like to where you're not gonna stop him at all. When he flipped that switch, bro, you're not stopping the Greek freak from getting to the basket. It's just not gonna happen. It's just, you just have to pray that he missed. That's all you can do. You just have to pray that he missed. That's all you can do at that point. The Greek freak is one of them type players. When he gets into his rhythm and really goes to that level that he can go to, just pray. You just have to pray. That's the only way you stop him. Just pray that he miss. Pray he drive to the basket and miss the layup when he go to the rim. Pray he drive to the basket and somehow miss the dunk. That's all you can pray for. That's it. That's all you can pray for. And pray that his defense isn't as effective as you would hope it to be. Hope it's not as effective as he normally is. That's all you can hope for. Bam Adebayo, dude just dropped 83 points in this past season. So Bam Adebayo is a great player, and I love the game of Bam Adebayo. Just watching him play the game of basketball I like watching his game. I'm a Bam Adebayo fan as far as what he can do on the basketball court. I feel like he's had no choice really, but he's had to be that. He's had to be that guy for the Miami Heat, since they managed to trade Jimmy Butler. He's kind of had to be that guy. He had to be that, that rock and that constant pause. But I felt like he dealt with that greatly, in my opinion. And let's be real, it's not like he was really in the background when Jimmy Butler was there. He was the other star on the team alongside Jimmy Butler. So they were kind of like a 1-2 punch. Jimmy Butler just managed to be the guy that they would always go to get a bucket. His name is Jimmy Buckets for a reason. So he would be the guy that they relied on and relied upon when it was time to go get those clutch buckets, those clutch, gotta have it type shots. Jimmy Butler will be the guy they would go to. But it's not like Bam Adebayo wasn't worthy or wasn't prepared for those moments. It's just that Jimmy Butler was the better option at that time. But Bam Adebayo has been the guy for the Miami Heat, alongside Jimmy Butler for a while now. So I felt like he was ready for, to kind of shift into being that number one, for the Miami Heat, at least to keep them afloat. And he was able to do that. Now granted, they didn't go win no championship. They didn't have no historic season, but he was able to keep them afloat, to a point to where they were still somewhat respectable, right? And he kept them to a point to where they were still attractive, to the point of Giannis Antetokounmpo, because he's been trying to get to Miami, at least rumored to be trying to get to Miami for a while now, and Miami has been interested in him as well. Before this year, the deal couldn't manage to get done for whatever reason. So this year, they finally found a way to get the deal done. They finally solidified it, bringing Giannis to Miami. And now the Greek freak is in the 305. But the whole reason why I say that is because, or the whole reason why I gave y'all that little, synopsis, if you will, because both of their games, Bam and Giannis, they are in the paint centric players, put it like that, right? So you're going to need someone that can space the floor. You're going to need someone that can take attention away from them. So I felt like a lot of 3-point shooters would take the opportunity to go to Miami, because you would have a chance to get a nice payday not this offseason, but you'll have a nice chance to get a payday next offseason. Even if you got to take a little pay cut, like, okay, if you were making, I don't know, if you were making $10 million last year, if I was in there, hypothetically, I thought a lot of shooters would look at it like this. Okay, if they were making $10 million last year, I'm going to go to Miami on a 1-year, $5 million deal, because I know I'm going to make that up and be and get a bigger bag next offseason. So I feel like a lot of shooters would do that. Now, granted, it wasn't as many shooters as I thought, because the way I was looking at it, I thought a lot of shooters. Now, granted, everybody get their money, all right? So I'm not advising I'm not nobody's agent or nothing, okay? Chill is nobody's agent. I am no one's financial advisor, legal advisor. So, look, y'all do what y'all feel is best for you and best for your family. But I thought that a lot of shooters would take the opportunity to take a veteran minimum or a significant pay cut to be a part of the Miami Heat, because there's something that you're getting when you sign with the Miami Heat as of now. Now, granted, you always got the Heat culture, you always got the work ethic, you always gotta, be on your stuff when you go to Miami. That's always been there. But now, when you go to Miami, let's be real here. Now, when you go to Miami, you have a chance to win a championship. Now you have a chance to win Now, granted, they've been competitive, but they've, at least from their past teams, them having Greek freaking Bam, this is their best chance. This is it. This is their best chance. So, outside of, when LeBron was there and everything like that. But anyway, this is their best chance. So I thought a lot of shooters would take the opportunity to take a pay cut, or, like Klay did, take a buyout and go to Miami, because I felt like a lot of people would realize the opportunity that lies there, not only for them to get a bigger bag next offseason, because that's on the table too, because if you perform, when you win, everyone eats, okay? And I've talked about this before. John Wall talked about it on a podcast. When you win, everybody eats. Everybody. So as long as the team is winning, that's why people see those players that maybe didn't have that much of an impact on a winning team, like in the NFL or in the NBA. You'd be like, oh, he only had 700 yards, but they won the Super Bowl. How did he get that contract? Well, you just said it. He only had 700 yards last year receiving, but they managed to win the Super Bowl, so he managed to get a bigger payday than he would have gotten if he was on any other team, because now a team isn't just paying for that 700 yards receiving. They're paying for that, okay, we're going to bring him in. Okay, now tell us, what was it like being around that championship environment? What do we need to do to be more like that championship environment so it can rub off on us, Pauls, so we can be more like a championship environment, and maybe that can, jumpstart us to winning, to getting ours and winning the championship ourselves. So tell us what that environment was about. Tell us, okay, what do we need to look like a winning team from the inside, internally? What do we need to look like a winning franchise? What do championship franchises look like? What is the day-to-day of championship franchises? What's the day-to-day as far as team meetings and stuff like that? What is being talked about from week to week? You're paying not only for them, for that player, you're paying for their experience of being around that winning environment. So whatever shooter that was able to come to Miami, and Klay Thompson being that guy now, I felt like they were going to line themselves up for a big payday next offseason, because they're going to have a great season, because they're not going to be getting any attention. So they're going to have a great season if they really be serious and stay on their stuff, which I think Klay Thompson will. If he stay focused and have one of them Klay Thompson type seasons that I think he can have, and I think he's still capable of. Now, granted, he's not the Klay Thompson that we all, know and love. He's not the same. I'll acknowledge that right now. Klay Thompson is not the same Klay Thompson that we all knew in Golden State. He's not that guy. And I love Klay Thompson. I love Klay Thompson's chill, no pun intended. I love his chill energy, his laid back energy. It's kind of just like, just chilling. All he love to do is hoop. I love that energy that he has. I do. But he's not, at least from the look of how he, now granted, maybe this is just the way that he's learned to adjust after his injuries. So maybe he doesn't want to, put his body, Pauls, in situations to where it'd be overstressing or overdoing it or overcompensating. But the Klay Thompson that I knew in Golden State, that guy, and I'm pretty sure he still can from the three-point line. It's no problem. It's no doubt in my mind he still can. But the Klay Thompson I knew, on a game-to-game basis, you can say Klay Thompson was the driving force of the Warriors winning some of them games when they were still in their prime of being the Golden State Warriors. You can say that he was the driving force behind them winning games. Now, granted, was he Now, I'm not saying that he was better than Curry or better than KD or better than. I'm not saying he was better than nobody. I'm just saying in some of them games, if you remember correctly, or if you go back and watch some of them games, Klay Thompson was the driving force in winning some of those games. And here's the thing. He was a driving force in winning some of those Warrior games where he didn't even have the most points. It's just he'd do stuff like this. The first half, Curry do his thing. Curry have like 17 points in the first half, right? Klay Thompson come out in the second half, pause. Klay Thompson have 31 points for the game and score all 31 in the second half. That's the type of stuff that Klay Thompson used to do. And I'm talking 31 points in the second half, had 0 in the first half. 31 points all in the second half, and he's scoring 31 points, taking a combined 6 dribbles. A combined 6 dribbles, 31 points and a half. That's the kind of stuff that Klay Thompson used to be able to do. Me and my brother was just talking about this not too long ago. The Klay Thompson that once was, and I'm sure that guy is still in there somewhere. I'm sure. And you even see glimpses of it sometimes, like as far as when he get hot from the 3-point line and stuff like that. I'm sure that guy is still in there, but the Klay Thompson that we all knew, it is an understatement to say that the Warriors aren't who they are without Klay Thompson. That's an understatement. They don't win certain games. They win without Klay Thompson. They don't win championships. They win without Klay Thompson. When we talk about the Splash Brothers, understand people get a lot of recency bias and look at Klay Thompson now and look at him after the injury and say, well, was he really that? No, I'm here to tell you, Chill is here to tell you, no, Klay Thompson was that guy. Go back and watch them games. Klay Thompson was that guy. He was that, like I said, 31 points in the second half with a combined 6 dribbles. That's the kind of stat lines that Klay Thompson would have. 50 points with a combined 10 dribbles. That's the kind of stat lines he would have. So Klay Thompson was that guy. So what I feel like he will provide for the Heat now. What did I just say? When you win, everybody eats. Klay Thompson is a 4-time NBA champion. He's a 4-time NBA champion. If there is one thing that Klay Thompson knows and knows well, that is what a winning franchise looks like. He knows how those conversations are on a day-to-day basis. He knows what the team is talking about from week to week. He knows the energy that needs to be going on. He knows the things that needs to be going on in practice. He knows the dialogue that needs to be had throughout the course of the season. He knows the things that they need to be getting better at, as the season goes on to prepare themselves for the potential playoff run to take off and go win a championship. He knows what it's supposed to look like, what needs to happen. He knows all the things needed that for the Miami Heat to rely on him for his veteran experience, veteran presence, and help them win a championship. Who also knows that, the other star of the team, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's an NBA champion, so he also knows the dialogue and the things that need to be going on as far as how to position themselves to be a winning franchise and take off to potentially go win a championship. He knows those things need to be talked about as well. But what I feel like Klay Thompson is going to provide is I feel like they're going to give him a chance to really be Klay Thompson again. Now, granted, I'm not saying that the Mavericks didn't do that because, Klay Thompson went to the Mavericks with, knowing what he was getting himself into. He knew he was going to the Mavericks. The chapter with the Warriors had closed. It was time for him to move on and go somewhere else, right? No problem with that at all. But I feel like the Mavericks did not give him the best of chances to really be, the Klay Thompson that we all, knew and loved, the Klay Thompson that could still be that guy. Now, granted, you don't rely on Klay Thompson to take over the game for you, especially, at this stage of his career. You don't rely on him to do that. But I still feel like they, at times, maybe underutilized him for just a little bit. Maybe a little bit, just underutilized him a little bit. I feel like in Miami, that's going to be different. I feel like he's going to have a chance to really just turn back into Klay Thompson. He ain't going to have to worry about too much. His role is going to be pretty much solidified. He's going to be that guy to light it up from the three-point line. If I was Eric Spoelstra, I would go ahead and tell Klay Thompson that right now. Your role on this team, light it up from the three-point line. Whenever you get that pass, just like you used to do in Golden State, whenever you get that pass, the basketball should be going up. The basketball should be going up every single time. Every single time you get the pass, it should be, y'all know how Klay Thompson do. One dribble and the basketball is being shot. That's what it should be. It should, don't overthink nothing. Don't worry about, okay, what Giannis gonna think, what Bam gonna think. No. Your role on this team, Klay Thompson, needs to be, for this team to be successful, okay, in my personal opinion, for this team to be successful, they need you to be that shooting threat that just doesn't care. Here's what I mean by that. I don't care if y'all down by 13 points. Every time they pass to you, they need to know that they have a chance to cut into that lead. If the lead is 13, when they pass the basketball to you, the lead need to be 10. Straight up. And if y'all trailing by 10, the next time they pass the basketball to you, the lead need to be 7. Then so you just need to be with that not care shooting threat. And I don't care if everybody on the court know. Every time Klay Thompson get the basketball, you know he gonna shoot. That's what they should think. Every time you're shooting the basketball, you need to be that shooting threat for this team to be successful. Because what I feel like is going to happen a lot of times, Giannis going to do his thing, Bam going to do his thing, other players on team, going to still be able to operate. But what's going to happen is I feel like the Miami Heat, and I'm not saying this because they're going to be a bad team or anything like that, but I think that they're going to be a team that really at the ending stretch of games is going to come down to two things. I think it's going to come down to a lot of their clutch, like down to the wire games. I feel like they're going to have a nice handful of them. Pause. I feel like a lot of their clutch games, down to the wire games, are going to come down to two things. It's going to be a mix of, in my personal opinion, it's going to be a mix of defense happening, fueled by Bam and Giannis. There's going to be a lot of defense taking place, like I said, fueled by Bam and Giannis. And it's also going to be a mix of some clutch three-point shooting and just clutch shot making in general. Now, some of those clutch shots are going to be Giannis doing his thing. Some of those clutch shots are going to be Bam doing his thing. But you know what the third option is going to be? The third option is going to be a lot of those clutch shots are going to come down to Klay, you doing your thing for the three-point line. So, and I feel like the Heat are going to allow him that opportunity to fully be able to be that guy in that role in Miami. The only thing is they need Klay Thompson. Okay, put it like this. That hesitant version, and I mean this, Klay, I'm just going to be honest with you, brother. That hesitant version of you that would look like, and I don't know you personally to know if this was it, but that version of you that was in Golden State the last couple years, where it looked like that you, from the outside looking in, it looked like you had lost your confidence in a way. That version of you where it looked like that, you were just kind of going with the flow. Look, listen to me, brother. You can't do that. I don't know what you need to do. Go see a sports psychiatrist or whatever. Go see the people you need to see. Because I'm telling you, for this whole thing to work, they don't need you to be out there, bro, being the shell of yourself and just being like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. They don't need that version of you. They don't need that. They don't need that. They need that guy. They need that guy that set the 3-point record. They need that guy that set the 3-point record, broke it from his own teammate. They need that They need that Klay Thompson, that mentality. They need that mentality of the fact that you're going to take over the game by not even doing much. They need that guy that knows even if logically he was the second best shooter on the court, they need that guy that knew he was the best shooter on the court at all times. They need that guy. They need that guy that was in debates at times and this was a real debate at one point in time. They need that guy that was in the debate of people asking, well, honestly, in clutch situations, who is really the better three-point shooter? Is it really Steph? It might be Klay Thompson. They need that guy, the one that made people question that. Now, granted, we know who the logical choice is, but we need that person that made people question that. That made people question in clutch moments, who is really the guy for the Warriors, honestly? Which splash brother do you really go to in clutch moments? They need that guy that made people question that at one point. They don't need this kind of, shell of yourself and questioning yourself. And I'm not sure if you did lose your confidence, but from the outside looking in, it looked like you did at one point in time. They don't need that guy. They need that guy that knew he was that guy. They're going to need that Klay Thompson. They're going to need that. They're going to need that. And for the Miami Heat to go get Nick Richards as well, I feel like they're lining up a great team. But the addition that I feel like they needed was to go get a real solidified shooter or nice shooters. So now they got a solidified shooter. They don't need, nice shooters. No, they have a solidified shooter. Okay, you're a Splash brother. Don't ever forget. You're the other half of the Splash Brothers. They need that version of you, Klay, this year. They got Nick Richards. They got Giannis. They got Bam. They got all these people. All these people over there. They just want to sign, like I said, Nick Richards. They got all these nice people over there, nice pieces that they acquired. They got Bobby Portis, nice role players, like a couple role players I just talked about. Already the bench is looking nice. Just off them two players alone. And I haven't went into detail about the bench yet. But check that out. You got Nick Richards, Bobby Portis coming off the bench. That's your depth right there. So plus you got more depth that I haven't even talked about. So the Miami Heat are looking dangerous. They are looking nice. The Miami Heat are looking fierce this year. Honestly. So Eric Spoelstra got a nice team to work with. But for any of this to work, for Giannis time not to be wasted, for Bam time not to be wasted, for any of this to work, they bought in a solidified shooter in you, Klay Thompson. So they gonna need you to fill that void like only you can. They need that. They need that. I'm not saying you the star on the team, but put it like this. In order for them to raise a Larry O.B. this year, you're going to have to do your thing. You're going to have to. You're going to have to do your thing. So, that's my opinion on it, man. I think it was a great addition. I can't wait to see how it works out. I'm happy for my boy Klay to be in a situation where he's back to contending again. Happy for him. This is what more of what he's used to. He's used to, competing for championships and things of that nature. So I'm glad he's back in his natural habitat, if you will. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thinking about this in the comments below. With that being said, man, your boy Chill is out, man. Peace.